gone into a better position at work. Her life was just starting.
Yeah.
And that's difficult because that's someone you know. And I immediately transferred her care. I did not see her again. And unfortunately, we buried her just a few weeks ago. So the first thing she asked me, how long do I have? I mean, this is someone who just could be like you. So the cancer, the emotional part of cancer is tough. It's very, very tough. The first thing I think I would set up is screening programs. Let's have screening programs. Different counties have screening programs. That if I know this is October, I should be able to screen for my breast for free. This is where we should start. Because the smaller the tumor, the cheaper it is in the long run. The bigger the tumor, the higher the stage, the more expensive it is even to the healthcare system. Something as Africans we always say. When you have cancer, people will tell you, don't even bother to go to the hospital. It's done. It's a big C word. The stigma around cancer is too big for us as Africans. Feel like we need to decipher and just bring cancer closer to home, that it's not a death sentence. Come early, we can get you out of it.
Welcome to the Med Squad podcast. This is where health meets humanity. My name is Yafesi Musoke, and today's episode is going to be intimate. It's going to be powerful, but above all, it'll be deeply human because I happen to have the privilege of hosting Dr. Tracy, who is, let me get this right, a consultant oncologist.
Yes.
You're also an advocate. And educator about, generally about
cancer. Exactly.
Which is what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
And so, first of all, welcome.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Now, you've, like getting straight into it, you've seen several patients, I'm sure. But what has cancer taught you personally? This experience
of cancer. Thank you for having me. I think what cancer has really taught me as a person is that behind every cancer diagnosis, there's humanity. It's someone's child, it's someone's father, it's someone's sister, brother. So there's humanity, there's a human face of cancer. Cancer does not really know your class, your social class. It does not know how much you have in your bank account. It does not care for what you do on a daily basis. Cancer humbles you. So that is one of the things that I have actually come to learn as an oncologist, working with cancer patients each and every day, that cancer is more than a diagnosis. It's more than this person has breast cancer. This person is a person. And that is quite important.
Wow. So what is the most misunderstood thing about cancer in your experience?
Cancer is a death sentence. I think this is something as Africans we always say. When you have cancer, people will tell you, don't even bother to go to the hospital. It's done. It's a big C word. The stigma around cancer is too big for us as Africans. Feel like we need to decipher and just bring cancer closer to home, that it's not a death sentence. Come early, we can get you out of it. And I think another misconception is that maybe you were cursed or someone did something bad to you, that it's not random. People feel like, what did I do wrong? It's random. And people need to understand it's nothing that you did wrong. It's nothing that someone did to you or anything. It's just a random, sad thing.
So now, speaking of randomness, because one of the other things around cancer and why we probably say it's a death sentence or just leave it alone is because we don't know what cancer actually is.
Exactly. There is no information. Information is jumbled up. There's a cancer survivor who I have met through and through the years, and she keeps on saying, when I was first got this diagnosis of cancer, I started looking online to see what is the cancer rate in Kenya, who has cancer in Kenya, but there was no data whatsoever. No one is doing research. Who has survived? There should be a list of survivors. There should be a support group. There should be some initiatives that different people are doing. Now we have, but maybe 5 years before that, there was nothing. So I think there's a lot of misdiagnosis, and even with the healthcare professions, sometimes some healthcare professions don't know what cancer looks like. And then even for the patients, they don't know what signs and symptoms should take them to a hospital. So they'll just sit at home and say, it's a painless thing. Why should I go anywhere? And they'll just stay home. And this is a big, big problem. It's a big challenge in our society. So creating awareness, screening of our patients, educating. And then we always ask the patients, read on your own. Just take up your mobile phone and read what you can. There is data somewhere. Just be informed. I think this is the biggest thing. And there is a cure. I mean, putting in hope, pushing in hope, there is something we can do.
There's a cure.
Yes.
And I mean, you have a very hopeful tone, but let's talk about the system, because we're also navigating cancer.
All right.
Within a system
a healthcare system.
Yeah, a healthcare system that some may say it's broken, some may say it just needs a bit of a boost here or there. But you once described it as a maze without a map.
Yes.
What did you mean by it being a maze without a map?
The healthcare system, let's give credit where it's due. We've come a long way. What it was 10 years ago and now, totally different, especially in the cancer space. It's one of the spaces that evolve on a daily basis. Even me as an oncologist, I have to keep up with research because something is coming. People are sitting down, creating more new molecules, creating better like diagnostics. So there's always something new coming. So I feel like, yes, it is not what it should be. But if we keep on going in the same trajectory, we will get there. 10 years ago, even talking about cancer in a podcast was unheard of. You have cancer, you stay home and no one knows about you. But now we are trying to just put the stigma down, destigmatize it. Let's talk about it. Let's communicate. Tell me what you think and I'll tell you. Let's come to the table and come up with solutions. So I feel like everyone has a role, even a normal person. You have a role in knowing what cancer is all about, listening to the cancer survivors, being supportive, being there with them, walking the journey with them, whichever walk they need, maybe financial, supportive, some emotional, whatever it is. So everyone has a role, but we've come a long way. It could be broken, but it's not very broken. It's better.
Okay. So
it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. So there's a sense in which the diagnosis brings with it a sense of urgency. And sometimes a person receives the diagnosis. I mean, they don't just spring into action. There's the shock. There's the initial emotional impact. And then from there, we're expected now to know where to go and what to do next. So what happens in the case of someone has just freshly received the diagnosis? Then what are the next steps? And is there a time frame? Because you're also afraid of it getting worse or it spreading.
Cancer is time sensitive. I must say that cancer is one of the most time sensitive diseases we have. If you see a cancer patient who you saw maybe 1 year ago and you see them now, it's totally different if they did not receive treatment. So one of the things that we must do, and we're probably trying to do, is have patient navigators. Yes, I'm seated somewhere in the middle of my village where I grew up probably, and I get this diagnosis. Oh, whatever you have in your liver looks like cancer. Then what next? Where do I go? So it should have referral pathways. We have referral pathways that if you're in a level 2 hospital, you go to 3, 4, 5 until you get to 6. And then you start maybe your cancer treatment there. But it should be a bit better that you have a patient navigator, someone who comes into your healthcare facility and tells you, oh, you can jump. You can jump from 2 and go all the way to 6 because you have all the necessary things. So you have a biopsy, you have your imaging. So you don't need to go through and waste more time in this system. You should be able to jump. So I think patient navigators should be able to help. And then I think even for patients, when you get your diagnosis, read. I always say education or knowing information makes you better. So you can read and see, oh, this hospital has this, so maybe I should go to that hospital. Okay. Or and another thing, of course, is healthcare workers. We're trying to tell healthcare workers, if you think someone has cancer, help them jump into the system, help them jump some of these referral areas so that they can get the treatment they need even sooner. Because unfortunately, even when they get to a level 6, there's waiting time. This is part of the system. Unfortunately, the influx of patients is so high. And the kind of equipment that we use, like radiotherapy machines, are very few in Kenya. In the government setup, we only have 4 machines that are up and running in the government. So these 4 machines are supposed to serve 52 million Kenyans. So you can see the need is there, okay? And if the need is there, so of course there's going to be a queue because now there's someone who came before you, and so the waiting times are there. So we would like the patients to come earlier so that they join the queue earlier and go into the treatment earlier.
Hey,
it's a bit complicated.
It is complicated. So, but that's in the public sector. So there are others in the private sector which, of course, have a cost implication
to the same.
Okay. So if I was to give you $1 billion, because I'm just generous like that, like what would you first
do?
change? Yeah, what would you first do?
If it was $1 billion is good. The first thing I think I would set up is screening programs. Let's have screening programs. Different counties have screening programs. That if I know this is October, I should be able to screen for my breast for free. This is where we should start. Because the smaller the tumor, the cheaper it is in the long run. The bigger the tumor, the higher the stage, the more expensive it is even to the healthcare system. So I think number one is screening. Screening needs to come first. After that is now maybe put in diagnostic machines, PET CT that can roam around. What about having a PET CT that is on wheels? Okay, such a thing would really help. And then into now that maybe healthcare workers, capacity building. We are not enough. Oncologists, radiation oncologists, we are less than 100. So we are not enough. Capacity building, okay?
Yes.
And then now the last part would be probably the treatment and then now the palliative care. Because after cancer diagnosis, there's always palliative care.
Yeah.
Cancer is heterogeneous, so there is a lot.
What do you mean heterogeneous?
Like it's not homogeneous. It's not one thing.
Not one thing.
There are many facets.
And facets.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, dear billionaire, come, let me show you. I have a plan for you. But when we come back right here on the Med Squad podcast, we'll be talking about another cost, the emotional cost. Stick around.
Hey there! Welcome to Zuri Health HQ, where Africa's finest medical minds meet modern care. I'm Yafesi, your host on the Med Squad.
Care is personal. It's not just diagnosis, it's direction. From a cough to managing chronic illness, we listen and we lead.
Every symptom has a story. We listen, explain, and act together.
Nutrition is not just about food. It's fuel, it's healing, it's prevention. We help you eat with purpose, for energy, for recovery, and for lifelong health.
We are not just lab coats, we are detectives, and your blood speaks when we translate.
Your mental health is not a luxury. It's your health, period. Whether it's trauma, depression, anxiety, or even wanting to speak to someone, we are here for you.
At Zuri Health, collaboration is our strongest prescription. We connect expertise across Africa to deliver care that is smart, affordable, and people first.
This is the Med Squad. Real conversations, real health, real people. From your inbox to your bedside, we're with you.
Welcome back. This is the Med Squad podcast. Now, we're talking about navigating cancer in a broken, or so it seems, healthcare system. And I have Dr. Tracy Rurai giving me all the education that is, wow. So let's talk a bit about call it the silent battles or the emotional cost. So like stories we don't hear. Even with all the information that goes around, with all the, like, whether it's false information or like contagion, I guess, is there still stigma around cancer?
Unfortunately, yes. If I say we still have stigma around cancer. I think one of the things we don't do is we don't talk about the victory that people survive cancer.
Yeah.
I don't think even the cancer survivors talk about it enough. They don't go into groups, don't talk about it in their churches and testify, but people survive cancer. Unfortunately, cancer still has a lot of stigma, but mainly in our countries because we see stage 3 and stage 4. And these ones, of course, the prognosis is not as great as stage 1 and 2. Yeah. So yes, the stigma is still there. And this is something that I think we all have to work together to destigmatize it. Yeah. I think like being on this kind of podcast will help, knowing that there's actually people who survive. So you should bring in more and more survivors so they talk about their journey. Yeah.
Is part of the stigma to do with the fear of the economic impact.
Yes.
So people don't put themselves out there when it comes to either financial vulnerability, or they just know this is going to really put us in a negative space.
Okay. I think we need to understand and need to agree cancer is expensive. whether you're a PS or whether you're a farmer, cancer is going to be expensive.
Yeah.
So no one should feel some stigma because you're coming for asking for funds or doing a harambe.
Yeah.
There should be not that kind of stigma. What the government maybe should do is that most of our insurance should be able to cover some of the cost and just unburden that person.
Yes.
So most people also don't go to hospital because they're like, I'm going to sell my life savings trying to give me 3 more months of life. So there's that kind of stigma. It's a financial burden and it's expensive.
Imagine the emotional state you have to be in to say it's not worth it to extend, by 3 months. Have you? I'm sure you have. You've been with a patient at the moment of breaking down, and have you ever had to cry with a patient? Hey, that empathy and yeah.
It's a delicate balance. At the end of the day, you're a doctor, but you're a human. I think for us, we need to stay professional. So crying with a patient is not part of the profession because they think you break down because you don't have choices. So for us, what we need to do is give the patients hope. But yes, I have had very, very difficult cases where I've had even to transfer the care of the patient to another doctor because I was too close home. So I'll give an example. My mom called me actually January of this year, and she told me, oh, my friend will call you and she wants to tell you something. My mom is my #1 fan and she refers a lot of patients to me. And yes, my mom's friend called me an hour later and she told me, I have sent you some results. Please just look at them. They're on WhatsApp. And she was like, oh, and I was like, those are your results? And she said, no, it's my daughter. Now, I have grown up with her daughter because this is my mom's friend. I have grown up with her daughter since we were kids. So we're age mates. We've gone through life together. So I actually know the daughter. So I asked her, then why isn't your daughter calling me? I mean, she's my friend. And she said, no, just go through the results and tell me what's up. So I looked into my WhatsApp and it was one of the hardest things that you ever have to see. So her name was there and the diagnosis was bad. So she had done a PET scan, she had done a biopsy. So she was in stage 4 stomach cancer. It had gone everywhere, to her liver, to her bones, to her lungs. It was everywhere. And so I called back my mom and told her, why do you do this to me? You put me through so much pressure. She told me, no, just try and help them. So I asked her to come to my clinic the next week and I had to sit down with her and I asked her mother to step out and I just sat with her because I knew she did not send me those results because she knows the outcome. She knows what it looks like. And when I sat down with her and she told me, like, how long do I have? I want you to be honest. Now she has a 2-month-old baby. And that's how the cancer was discovered. She had a 2-month-old baby, newly married, starting life, just finished her home, her dream home, gone into a better position at work. Her life was just starting. And that's difficult because that's someone you know. And I immediately transferred her care. I did not see her again. And unfortunately, we buried her just a few weeks ago. So the first thing she asked me, how long do I have? I mean, this is someone who just could be like you. So the cancer, the emotional part of cancer is tough. It's very, very tough, even on us. So for healthcare workers, we need counseling. They're supposed to go for every 3 months a mental health checkup and just see your shrink and talk and give them the burden and move on.
Hey, my condolences. Wow. So, hey.
You asked for a story.
I asked for a story. I didn't expect it to go. You know what? Let's go on a break here on the Med Squad podcast. We need to take a bit of a breath. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Med Squad podcast. This episode, as you probably heard, it's a deeply emotional one. It's emotive, and we don't take it for granted that there are people who face a cancer diagnosis with a certain amount of gravitas that we may not even comprehend. Now, I have Dr. Tracy Rura with me here, and when you spoke about your personal experience, for a lot of us, we're watching and thinking, how can I prevent this from happening? And yet we can't see a way of preventing it. We see athletes, super fit people getting cancer, people who are young getting cancer, old. You've seen someone who has lived a healthy lifestyle throughout getting cancer, but someone who has drunk and smoked his way through life and eaten, I don't know, 3 kilos of cows every week is
healthy.
Is healthy. And so I don't understand. So what gives you hope? Because for us, we're like, yeah,
doomed.
Where is this going?
I think what gives me hope is the fact that we can do research. Carcinogens are not yet known 100%. Especially in us Africans, we don't know our genetic makeup. So this is where cancer treatment, even cancer treatment, is going to. Every different patient has different treatment, even if we have the same cancer. So going into precision medicine is what gives me hope. The fact that people are not sleeping, there's research coming out each and every day. What's causing cancer in Garissa? What's causing cancer in Isiolo? So different research each and every day. It gives me hope because that means we're discovering something new. But of course, the pinnacle of the hope is the patients. And the patients, when they have small victories, even accessing a drug that you thought they could not access, or even getting a better diagnosis, or even getting support from their spouse, small victories, and every day, those are the people we keep on pushing for. When a patient comes back to you and says, Doc, nikasikia afadhali, this for me is joy.
So if someone is listening right now, they've just recently received a diagnosis, what do you say to them?
The first thing is that you're not alone. We are here. We are healthcare workers. We're here. We need emotional support. So I want to rally the family with that person to always come to the hospital. I don't like seeing just the patient. I always ask, where is someone? So rally around the patient because they need your support as much as is possible. And as a patient, also advocate for yourself, advocate for other people, advocate for other generations. Go and speak in high profile areas. Go and speak to the government. Please increase our share. Go and speak in private sector. Oh, make our insurance a bit better. This is you. This is you. When it affects you, it's your voice. And I think the most important thing is come to the hospital. Don't stay at home.
Don't stay at home.
Do not lose hope.
Yes. And for the ones who are in their circles, or you may not have a family member, or you don't have a cancer diagnosis. What is our role? Apart from being escorting or being the present family.
For everyone else, our role is to talk. Let's talk about it. Thank you for inviting me here. This is number one. Let's talk about it. Let's put our voices out there. Ask questions. Always ask questions. If you're in a role where you can do some advocacy, do it. Put in an advert here. Bring in a new drug to our system. Bring in a new machine to our system. Give us some more finances to do research. I mean, give us some more finances. Sponsor someone to go and study cancer. So your role is huge. You're actually the majority. So your role is huge to support this plight because in another 30, 20 years, it will affect each and everyone for sure.
Wow. Billionaires, please. One more machine at a time. Just do it. Just do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Your work, your passion, your voice. Thank you for your clarity also. You're on the Med Squad podcast. When we come back, we're going to look at cancer from a layman's perspective. Stick around. Welcome back. It's the Med Squad podcast. I'm hanging out with Dr. Tracy Irura, although it's not hanging out. It's more like having a serious conversation. And now we've talked about cancer from a really broad perspective, systemically and in terms of the social and communal impact. But at the very, very basic level, what is cancer? Like scientifically or clinically, what's the definition? What does it do?
So cancer, our bodies are made of cells, okay? This is the unit of the body. So our bodies are made of cells. So cancer is cells that are overgrown. They are receiving the wrong signal, doing the wrong things, and just growing and proliferating. Now, the biggest problem with cancer is that it has the ability to move. So you can have cancer that started in your breast, then it can move. Those cells, abnormal cells, move into your bones, move into your brain. So that's one of the hallmarks of cancer. It has the ability to move. It's not like a liver disease. It will just stay in your liver. It will move to other organs and then cause multiple organ failure.
When you talk about cancer moving, is that what makes it so difficult to treat?
Yes, that's why it makes it actually very difficult to treat. Because if you treat cancer that is in a certain area and you do not treat another area, then that area stays untreated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why when it's stage 4 cancer, it's so hard to treat. So you need systemic therapy, something that goes into your system, your blood flow, and goes to all the cancer cells wherever they are.
So you mentioned stage 4. How do you distinguish the stages?
Yeah. So we do a lot of scanning. So cancer is one of the things that heavily relies on imaging. You have to image the patient.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of scans. So you can start with maybe just a normal, maybe an ultrasound. This is what most patients come with. If it's a breast ultrasound, for instance, then you go for CTs, then you go for MRs, and then you go for the big guns like the PET scan.
Yeah.
Okay. But we have to do a whole body imaging. So whatever your modality you've decided to use, you have to check for cancer cells throughout the body. And this is how we know that this cancer has spread to another organ.
So stage
4.
Stage 4 is the one where it's...
it's gone outside where it started.
And at stage 3, is it still in its original?
Yes, it is, but it probably has gone to the other regional things, like the lymph nodes. Okay, so cancer also has a propensity to go into the lymph nodes. Basically, everyone has lymph nodes. But when you have cancer, the cancer cells enter the lymph nodes. And this we say now, this is stage 3. Because it has come out from where it has started to surrounding tissues. But now when it goes a bit far, like maybe from the pelvis all the way to maybe your lungs, then we say it's distant. It's a bit far. So that one now is stage 4.
So now the body of there are cells everywhere.
Yes.
So I'm even wondering, is there a limit to the types of
cancer that we have? No.
Wow.
No. More recently, I saw a hair follicle cancer. Very recently, hair follicle cancer.
Okay.
So unfortunately, cancer is like, clearly. So cancer is like maybe 200 diseases. It's not one disease. It's maybe 200 because every cell can get cancer.
So when there's imaging being done, because remember you mentioned how there's a waiting list even for stage 4. How long does a scan take for one patient?
So it depends on the scan that you're doing. The preparation is probably, if it's a PET scan, you'll be told to not eat 4 to 6 hours before you do the PET scan. And then they come and they inject you with the radioactive nucleotide into your bloodstream. And then they give you 1 hour to just sit still for it to go into your bloodstream. And then they do the imaging. So maybe an hour for most of them. But for CT scans, 15, 20 minutes is enough. For MRI is a bit longer because of the sequencing, maybe about 20 minutes. So it's not too long.
What is the prevalence? Do you have any numbers or figures, statistics on the prevalence of
cancer in our setup? So we're still building what we call a cancer registry. This was not there 10 years ago. So a cancer registry is where we as Kenyans all go into the registry. If you have cancer, you should be recorded. That is how it works. So we're still building the registry, but we use what we call GlobalCan data. So the GlobalCan data is what gives us our prevalence in Kenya, for instance. So in terms of non-communicable diseases, we are number 3 of diseases. So we have the infectious diseases, and then we have the NCDs, the heart disease, and the rest. And then now we have cancer at number 3 in Kenya. In terms of prevalence, they say about 82,000 people are living with cancer as we speak now, Ifesi. This is quite a big number. So these are the people who are recorded. So maybe there are some people who are not yet recorded. Our prevalence of cancer, breast cancer, cancer of the cervix, prostatic, esophagus, colorectal, these are the top 5 cancers that we see on a daily basis. So, and the prevalence, unfortunately, is growing. Our mortality, these are the number of people who die from cancer, still high. Still high.
Okay. I won't even ask what percentage it might be a bit. But with regard to that, there are people, of course, who sometimes decide to switch to herbal remedies to avoid either the cost or try to find some hope in some other way. Do these herbal remedies work, or the natural remedies?
I think this is a very difficult question. I'm a scientist. I believe in science. I believe in data. So if I don't see the data, maybe let's do research. Let's see which tree has what. Maybe there is something there. So if there is no data, I personally tell my patients, let's do the scientific medicine. This is what we know. This is what it has shown. So I think more research should be done. Maybe there is something somewhere.
And there was this...
We are sitting on a landmine.
We're sitting on a landmine. And there was the whole... I don't know what they call it, hula baloo, about us not having had cancer in Africa before either colonization or adopting Western lifestyles and processed foods and all that. How much truth is there to that?
There's truth. There is some truth. Of course, now we're also picking data. Maybe before, no one was coming up and showing up with cancer.
Yeah.
Maybe before, there was no good diagnostic tools. So there are many things before we were not screening. So there are many things before we were not treating. So when you treat, you're cancer-free, you know. So there's so many things that have come now. Of course, our Western lifestyle has really impacted that. I mean, you talk to maybe your grandfather and he tells you, I used to walk 20 kilometers every day to school and back.
Uphill both ways.
And you're like, yo, and I was carrying something on my back. Yeah. So I think we're not doing enough for what they used to do.
Yeah.
And maybe sugar, processed foods, obesity is on the rise, lack of exercise. Most of us are sitting, very, very lazy kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, because I wanted to do this episode while planking, but decided we need the information more. Yeah, Once again, Dr. Tracy, thank you so much.
Thank you for having
me. For your work, for your voice, but also I think more for the clarity with which you speak. There seems to be a clarity that gives you a hopefulness and a tone that's encouraging, inspiring. Yeah. So thank you for that.
Thank you for having me. Please invite me again. I'll come now with my squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we plank.
And we plank together.
Now for you, health systems may be broken, but well, we don't have to break with them. And just because you have a cancer diagnosis, it should not mean despair or the end. And let's build a world where a cancer diagnosis does not mean despair. On the Med Squad podcast, we try to give you the right information so that you have a broader perspective and clarity. We'll see you next time.